Okay, so here's a quick tour of my peacock bass in size order. So we have my cichla ocellaris, about 18 inches, the biggest fish that I currently keep. We have cichla orinoco over here, I'd say 15 to 16 inches. We have cichla temensis growing fast, about maybe 12 or 13 inches. I have my other cichla orinoco in this aquarium, but this guy attacked him, so now he's in quarantine back there. But he's about 10 inches. And I'm trying to get this guy to be with them inner ranks because he's only 6 inches, but he's being extremely stubborn. Hey everyone, this is DWS Darius and welcome to another day in the fish room. So it's the same story. I have another juvenile peacock bass that I'm trying to get to eat food that's not alive. These guys are very picky eaters. They only want food that's going to fight back, food that's going to resist them. And I guess it makes sense because in the wild, the food that fights back the most is most likely the most healthiest. So yeah, in aquariums, it can be challenging getting these guys to eat raw fish, raw shrimp, and then eventually pellets. I prefer raw shrimp and raw fish because one, it's easier to get my hands on, and two, it's safer. You don't have to worry about parasites or anything like that. So yeah, trying to get this guy on raw fish. Now normally the way I do it is two ways. One, I put a small peacock bass in a tank with larger peacock bass, and because the fish feels such a need to compete, to grow and catch up, he's gonna eat everything and anything. So the same thing with this temensis. He's smaller than my ocellaris and my orinoco back there. So he's been eating whatever I put into the tank, including pellets. So yeah, that's one way to get your peacock bass or your predatory fish to eat. Put them in a tank where there's a lot of competition, and most likely that competition will stir up. I wanted to do that with this guy, but I put him in a tank and he was way too small. He could have got eaten. So he's in this aquarium being stubborn. So that means I have to try the second method of getting this guy to eat prepared foods, and that's by tricking him to thinking it's live. All I need to do is get the raw fish in his mouth, and normally the taste of it should make him swallow it and get him hooked. But the problem is this guy won't put it in his mouth unless it looks alive, unless it looks like a live fish. Now with these guys, this guy right here, because he was one of the ones I had to trick, what you would do is you would drop the raw fish in front of that circulation pump. It pushes it, it makes it look like the raw fish is swimming away. He grabs it without hesitation. I tried that with this tank, but really not getting too much flow from there, so it really doesn't move too far. So today I want to give you guys a look at my new attempt to get this guy to eat raw fish. Okay, so this right here is my little workstation. So this is what the fish, the bass, already eats. He likes live foods. And these are just some earthworms that I just went and caught. I'll give you guys a quick example. So he eats live foods that resist, like I said. So we have a little earthworm. So because he eats earthworms so readily, because he's so quick when it comes to attacking them, I'm going to try, this is what I want to eat. This is a piece of shrimp. I feed raw tilapia and raw shrimp, but the thing is they like the shrimp a little bit better. So what I want to do is get this in his mouth. The way I want to get it in his mouth is by somehow getting one of these worms to attach to it and maybe attract him. So I'm not really sure how this is going to work out. I'm probably going to try to put a hole in a little piece and put the worm through the hole. But let's see if this works. Okay everyone, so this is what I came up with. I have a piece of shrimp with the worm going through it. So the worm is pretty much wearing the shrimp like a dress. So let's go ahead and see how this works. And as you saw, it was successful. Now I have my tinfoil barbs getting a little bit stirred up. They smell the food in the water. The shrimp has a very strong scent, so they're getting fired up. But look at this guy. He ate his first piece of shrimp. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it a second time. Now normally I can't get it done twice in a row. So if I get it done twice, in a row, that's definitely a great sign. Okay, so that didn't work. I have one more worm left, so we're gonna try this one. This worm is like small and barely moving, so I'm gonna put it with a smaller piece of shrimp and we're gonna see how it goes. Now I have this third piece in here, and unfortunately the worm is not cooperating. It's not really moving, and like I said, this peacock bass only likes food that's gonna fight back, food that's gonna resist. So while it's just sitting here, it's probably gonna stay here until one of the temporary barbs come and get it. They're not going to get it while I'm in front of the tank, and the peacock bass is not going to get it unless it moves. So I'm going to sit here and watch it a little bit, and hopefully I can get it on camera if the peacock bass does go for it. So yeah, I've been watching for a while, and he's not going to eat it because it's not really moving as much as he would like it to move. So instead, we're just going to come over here. I have a little grub that I found while I was digging for the worms, and we're going to see if this guy eats it. This is anonymous. Now, recently I did a rescape like 2 days ago, and that ended up being a bad idea because ever since I did the rescape, he's been hiding. I gave him a better cave, and now he barely comes out, so I'm not sure if he's going to come out. Before I used to shake my finger in the water and he would come, and nothing. So I'm going to drop it in there and see if he responds to it. He's still in this cave. But he's been acting really shy lately. Hopefully it's just a phase. But I gave him a little rescape. I gave him a better house, and now he never wants to come out. So hopefully he passes that. Besides that, in this tank, look at the ghost knife. Let me feed him this shrimp that I have left over. There was a tragedy in this tank, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. But really quickly, this guy loves the shrimp as well. Big piece one. And then I have a smaller piece. And go in there and touch his tail. See, normally I feed the tank first, and he recognizes from the commotions in the tank that it's feeding time. But I guess right now, because he's like, he didn't hear the commotion, he doesn't know what to do. Come on. Oh yeah, there was a huge loss in this tank. You can see that the red devil is not in this aquarium, and I do have video from the day that he passed away, which was like 2 weeks ago. Okay, so I came down here and I found this red devil laying on his side. Now, the first thing I look for is signs of bruises. Don't see any bruises. No signs of fighting. And look at him. He's still alive, but he's almost gone. Can't stay upright. And the only thing that I think will cause this, I see this piece of wood up here floating. I think he was digging and maybe something a rock fell on him, because other than that there's no sign, no reason for him to be like this. No fish attacked him, because if a fish attacked him it would have been injuries, scrapes, scratches, or anything like that. Yeah, the only thing I see different is this thing is floating. This piece of wood was anchored with a rock over there, and I'm thinking maybe he was digging over there and a rock fell on him. So he's dead. Well, he's not. He's almost dead. He still has a little bit of life. But I'm going to try and hold him upright for as long as possible. He can't stay upright. He keeps floating upside down. So I'm going to try to position him upright I just broke down my hospital tank the other day. I had it running for like a week straight with empty, and I decided let me break it down. And here it is. This guy is on his side. But like I said, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna try to hold him upright for as long as I can. Maybe I'll find something to put him in so that he could just stay in this upright position so that he can at least breathe. But if there's something like a bone broken or maybe a swim bladder busted because that rock fell on him, that's the only thing I could think of. But that's crazy. And what I pretty much believe was happening was that this piece of wood was held down by the rock that's back there, and that's just a round stone, and it was on top. Half of it was on the ground, half of it was on a log. I think the Red Devil was gaining territory, building a little spot, and the log lifted because the log was floating, and that rock fell on him and broke something in his body, did something, but he died shortly after. And the lesson that I get from it is just that these escapes are not the main importance of the escape. Is just safety for the fish, safety as far as places for them to hide, and safety as far as not collapsing on them. So before I go about trying to make this tank look decent, I got to make sure that it feels and is safe for my fish. So my correction, I now have this rock, and you can see this rock has a lot of definition, and it really folds over and it locks in there. And yeah, definitely a huge loss, definitely an unexpected loss, and probably one of the worst ways for your fish to die, to be crushed by the rocks that you put in your tank. And then if you follow me on Instagram, you know that a little while ago I put up this video. You know, a lot of people told me that it wouldn't work, and it makes sense because these guys are predators, they are crazy, but I wanted to try it because I have this catfish right here is about 7 inches, and he lives with these peacock bass with no problem. Probably because he has the rugged fins and everything, he has a great defense, but the Polypterus has those great defenses as well, especially this Polypterus inoteri, a very rugged body. Initially when I put him in the tank, this guy grabbed him, and he was about 3 inches in his mouth, but he spit him out quickly, and I'm guessing it's because the Polypterus has such a rugged body. So today we're in the tank 3 days later after I put him in the tank. Initially he spent the first day and some change over here, and now he's made his way over here, and that's right there. And before, when he was in my 125 back there, he spent all of his time hiding, and he mostly was nocturnal. Hopefully in his tank he's going to do the same thing, and the main reason why I put him in his tank is because I figured that in his larger setup it would encourage him to grow, and that's been the case with all my fish in this tank. The ghost knife, all these fish, once they come into this big tank, they explode with growth. So I'm just going to watch. So far the peacock bass already took him off the list of food, even though he's hiding right now. I don't think they're going to go after him because even though he's like that skinny, he's still 10 inches long. So he's in here. I know he would appreciate the extra space. On top of that, the diet that these guys get. And I saw him burrowing inside that aquarium, and that aquarium has really thick gravel. This tank has gravel that's almost like sand, so it gives him a better chance to burrow. You can see even now, his head is slightly under the substrate. So yeah, hopefully he do well in this aquarium. Besides that, this Oscar has been showing a lot of attitude. Not sure. Look at them. They're all ready to eat. Not sure what. Look, I can't put my hand in the tank because he's gonna bite me every time. I put my hand in the tank. Look at him trying to get me. But he's just doing it because he's greedy. The Oscar is just becoming extremely aggressive. I had a video that I put on Instagram again of me sticking my hand in the tank, and Oscar bit me. So yeah, he's becoming a nut. I'm starting to question whether or not he's a good tank boss because you can see these peacock bass, the top of his fins are injured, and that's because the Oscar chases him, he panics, hits the top of the tank and damages his fins. Not to the point where it's like serious, but still it's unnecessary. So it has me questioning the Oscar as the lead fish in the tank, as the dominant fish. So I'm considering whether or not I should take him out. And then I showed you guys earlier my smaller Orinoco down here in hospitalization, and you can see his tail has a split in it, and look at his back fins, it's also pretty torn, and that is because of the bigger Orinoco decided to attack him. So put him down here so that it wouldn't get worse. He was showing his same attitude as far as fighting and tormentous and his same appetite. However, I just said let me put him down here just so that he could heal properly and it doesn't get worse. So he's down here getting some Malefix treatment. But yeah, everyone, that's just some of the things happening in the fish room nowadays. While I was talking, that piece of shrimp with the worm in it, it's gone. So he could have ate it, but I think most likely these guys came over here and grabbed it. But yeah, that's pretty much how you get these peacock bass off of live foods. You got to trick them to eat raw foods. He ate the shrimp with no problem. The first piece, the second 2 pieces he left alone. But eventually you do that every day. Right now the only live foods he get is worms. Every time I put a worm in the tank now, I'm going to put a piece of shrimp with the worm, and eventually I should be able to put shrimp in the tank by itself, even raw tilapia in the tank by itself, and he should accept it. He should start growing, and eventually he should be big enough to live with the rest. But yeah, everyone, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Last thing, this tank right here, this plywood aquarium that is soon to be, I already scheduled time off work for next month. So the last 2 weeks of June I will be home and I will be focusing on putting this thing together. Next week I'll be ordering my pond shield. I was having a big debate of what color I should buy, black, gray, white, because you know different colors will have a dramatic effect on the tank. So you guys will see what I choose and why in the days to come. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.